The topic of the day is Screenwave. I built a rough concept map on when Screenwave took over Cinemassacre day-to-day operations. It all ties back to when the AVGN movie subsequently was released and failed. At this point, James returned from LA to the channel, and Mike was already performing the day-to-day backdoor business operations. Both were exhausted and probably ready for a change. This is when Screenwave really started working behind the scenes at Cinemassacre. Ryan Schlott, Screenwave's owner, is the original website mod for Cinemassacre as far back as 2006-2007. When YouTube orchestrated the concept of multi-channel network, or MCN, that's when Ryan decided to use his business experience working advertisers and revenue streams into an actual company. For James and Mike, it was an easy step to take, as Cinemassacre had as many as 4 million subs at the time, and they already knew Ryan. Screenwave has a lot of clients from other game channels like GameSack to animators like Harry Partridge and even music channels, and they probably gave them a good deal, to be honest, compared to other MCNs. There are some channels, though, that refuse to use MCNs. For example, the Game Chasers have specifically listed on their YouTube page that MCN requests will not be considered, as MCNs can often create more complex review and approval processes. As far as how much Screenwave makes as an MCN, I've had several sources specify they contractually charge up to 20% of monetized revenue, which possibly includes sponsored ads, which is why Cinemassacre is putting so many of those up.
But first, a message from our sponsor. All right, y'all ready for the tight-toe titles? Boy, that's a tongue twister, but not as twisted as having your unencrypted private data being harvested by hackers, governments, and corporations.
Off of the channel earnings in return for supporting content delivery to subscribers, which includes script writing, filming, editing, convention orchestration, merchandising, etc. Screenwave seems to plant a Screenwave consultant on the various channels it manages, and for Cinemassacre, Justin Silverman is doing that job. You can also see he's managing the Reddit Ask Me Anything AMA series of the channel, and James, as usual, stays far away from the fans unless he shows up at a con with a Screenwave employee in tow. Before Screenwave, Mike was doing all of this while James was busy spending years on the movie.
You get it sold!
During this time, roughly 2010 to the year or so before he left, Mike was put on record as being short with fans, pushy with site mods, and not forthcoming with past channel issues to fans. This characterization seemed to persist once Screenwave had taken over, as Screenwave really did leave Mike to handle fan criticism of the channel, at least for the most part. So Mike was left to sink or swim by this company so they could produce content for James.
But the liquor store guy, he knew.
In other words, the whole damn town knows it. Come on, get out of here, come on.
He was never formally reprimanded for past issues, but it appears the overall channel left him for a much worse fate. Any situation like this would burn anybody out. As you can see, Mike seemed to be gaining weight throughout this entire process. Once he left to focus on his own channel, however, this is when you see him starting to settle into his own skin and even lose a few pounds. People have even said he's been really nice commenting on some of his videos and interacting with fans, which is a welcome change. As well, Mike's YouTube subs have gone up roughly 2,000 since he left Cinemassacre and Screenwave. Once he left, people knew the only place to find him was on his respective channels, so it was the best thing for him to leave and worry about himself. As well, he's able to focus more on his relationship with Erin, which seems to be a healthy choice, and she has her own channel, which he helps her with. Concerning what's in store for Screenwave, to them, Mike leaving may shed off some of the past history, but what they're obviously forgetting is Mike built the channel, and going forward, anything they produce will be obviously scripted and a hollow shell of what it once was. After all, Mike really is the actual AVGN at heart. James is just an actor. Anyway, food for thought. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I'm going to put out some more, but thanks for watching, and have a good one.